Hello there. Welcome to the video. We are going to look at the game by the 8th world champion, number 8, Mikhail. Misha. Now, this is one of my favorite games, and one of my favorite games when I'm trying to teach about opening principles. In fact, I've even used this game before on the channel in a video called Foundations of Opening Play. I'll link to that. I think the video has criminally low views. I think it's one of my best videos. But I used that game there, and I was using it tonight, and I think this is one of the most instructive games when it comes to just talking about and explaining the opening principles. So let's, without further ado, let's dive into it, and let's try to talk about what's going on. So Tal opens with e4, one of the classical openings. Try to open up with e pawn or d pawn, place a pawn in the center, and black plays a hyper modern opening. These openings are playable, but they do immediately concede the center to white, and Tal gladly accepts. He gets the pawn duo that white is trying to get in every opening. It's one of the goals of so many openings, including, this one. And the problem with hypermodern openings is if you don't at some point put a pawn in the center, you're very often in big trouble. So Tal just gets on with it. Pieces out, knight c3, development, and more development. And what? Knights before bishops. Principles in play here. Knights before bishops. Black keeps on going, a pawn move. This is a very advanced way to play, but also very difficult. And Tal just keeps developing. Now he puts a bishop out. It's a little bit of a provocative move because you can push the bishop, but then you create some weaknesses. If you play knight f6, you might get hit with e5 at some stage, and now the pawn can't move. So Tringov played queen to b6, hitting the pawn on b2. But he's also, he hasn't occupied the center, and now he's moving the queen out probably too early. And Tal agrees, and he doesn't care about the b2 pawn. And he gets on with development, queen to d2. And he does that before developing the bishop because he has to protect the knight. So he gives up the pawn, but now attacks the queen. And what's more, the rook is now on a half-open file, which could be useful, but also stunts the development of this bishop for black. So the queen moves, and what does Tal do? He's got all these pieces out. Just simple development. Bishop to c4. Black moves the queen. He wants to get the queen back. It looks a little dodgy, might get trapped. So he plays it back, queen a5. And what does Tal do? He castles. Now look at this. All the pieces out, 4 pieces. Very effectively, one move each. This guy even got with tempo on a half-open file. We're castled. The queen is out. The rooks are connected. I mean, what more do you want from an opening? This is how you play the opening. It looks simple, but what is black doing? He's moving the queen way too often. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So queen out too early and moving the same piece twice. Meanwhile, all these guys sitting at home. So black is breaking all these principles, but white is following all of them. So this suggests that things might be about to go horribly wrong for black. But okay, he plays e6. He has to try to keep the position closed. Last piece that's not really developed, the rook, now goes to a file that may become useful. And spoiler alert, it does. So now, again, all the pieces are ready for white. Black just has to get on with the development. But he plays a6, another pawn move. And now Tal starts striking. He plays bishop to f4, hitting the pawn. And kind of tricking black into this tempting move, e5. If you can play e5, get the knight out and castle, then maybe you can slowly catch up in development, and white's development advantage will come to nothing. So you have to try to use the development advantage before your opponent catches up. So naturally, Tal wants to open up the position. And he does so stunningly here with queen to d6. Leaving 2 pieces attacked. First this one, and then this one. Now in the game, Tringov took the knight. Let's quickly see what happens if he takes the bishop. Then Tal will simply use this knight, put it on d5, threaten this deadly jack, which you can't really do anything about. You can't place a knight here. Yeah, the pieces don't work because they're not out, they're not cooperating. The only thing you can do is, well, I'm not going to mouse-slip. The only thing you can do is take this, I take back, and now you see the rook on the e-file. And this just comes with deadly effect, game over. White's pieces are too active. So Tringov took the knight on c3. But now rook e2 d1, hinting at a mate on d8. So black finally thought, okay, I'll get a piece out, knight d8. But this allows a very nice finish, and Tal did not hesitate here, and he took on f7. And this is actually mate in 5. Black can take or play king here. Then we bring the bishop. It's also mate in 5. You can check it out for yourself as an exercise. But in the game, he took the bishop. Now knight comes into g5. King here, queen e6. If you go here, it's mate on f7. If you go to d8, well, actually, Tringov resigned, but the finish would have been knight to f7 and queen to d6. A beautiful illustration of, just sound opening principles. Occupy the center, get the pieces out effectively, effective squares, get castled, connect the rooks, rooks on useful files, and then, if your opponent is doing nothing, explode, open the position and win in 17 moves. I mean, what more do you want from a chess game? I think this is one of the most underrated teaching games. Everybody blasts the opera game, which is a good game, but it's so overused that, I don't know. It's a beautiful game, but everybody knows it. It is instructive, but I really like this one as well. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one. Bye bye.